Alright everyone, how are you doing? Today has been a very, very busy day for West Ham United on the transfer front, on players meeting up in the USA for our last game out there where we play Crystal Palace before we come back home, play against Celta Vigo at London Stadium and then kickstart the 24-25 Premier League season. Kicking things off with a deal potentially happening between West Ham United and Borussia Dortmund for German striker Nicholas Fullkrug. The guy is 31 years old. He is getting a bit older in his career, but still a very good player. Played for Germany in the Euros, scored a really good goal against Scotland, and someone that I would take as we desperately need a striker. However, this does affect the John Duran deal. And it affects them in a way that the talks are on standby as of now. We can't obviously buy Duran when we're trying to get Fullkrug. It seems to be at the minute like we're going to get one or the other. And at the minute, I'm kind of tied on who I want because Duran seems to have a very big ego for himself. Doing that thing on Instagram Live, he's really pissed off the Villa fans. So it will be an interesting one to get Duran. But still, I think he's a pretty good striker and he's only 24 years old. However, Nicholas Fullkrug also, he is proven away in the Bundesliga. That is different to the Premier League, but for Borussia Dortmund, that's all right. Also for the national team. But as I say, he's 31 years old, so towards the end of his career, so it would be a bit of a gamble to have him for a lot of money and on a longer contract if he's only really going to play for maybe 1 or 2 years. Let me know what you think about that down in the comments below, but I'm not really sure which one we should go in for, whether it should be Duran or whether it should be Fullkrug. In an ideal world, we'll get both, but we'll see what happens. And then on the topic of the John Duran deal for Aston Villa, we were looking to get him for around 40 million, but Villa are sort of stalling. They're trying to get more money. I'm not really sure what's going on at the minute. This deal looked like it was pretty complete the other day, but it seems like that's not the case. But originally we put in an offer for money plus young player Lewis Orford. But since then, Lewis Orford has made it clear that he wants to stay at the club. He is going to sign a 5-year contract to get integrated into the first team, and Lopetegui's plans is to get him in the first team by the next few years by signing this bumper contract for 5 years. For me, West Ham United have always been known as the Academy of Football, and this is a very good move. I haven't really seen a lot of Lewis Orford, but I believe he was in the squad that won the FA Youth Cup back in 2023. So if anything, it's very good for the club to get a player like him on a long contract where we can keep him and get him into the first team. I mean, look at some of the players of the past that we've brought through, the likes of Frank Lampard, Rio Ferdinand, and of recent times, Declan Rice. So hopefully Lewis Orford could be added to that list. Well, hopefully stay at the club, but be added to that list of brilliant players that come through on the academy. Next up, Manchester United right back Wan Bissaka, or Manchester United for now, but who knows when he'll become a West Ham United player. Things were moving quite quickly in the Wan Bissaka deal, but now all of a sudden there has been a little break in the two clubs talking to each other because there has been a difference in valuation between the two clubs. I'm sure West Ham will get over it, as it is clear that we want to get Wan Bissaka, but at the minute it's not completely done and we still need to work on the deal if we're going to want to get him. But it's clear that also Lopetegui wants a sort of right back, as he was going in for Mazraoui, Moroccan, Bayern Munich. That deal fell to pieces and he's already got rid of Ben Johnson to Ipswich, and I don't really think he wants to play a aging Kufau with not long left on his contract, if anything at all. So he's going to want to get someone like Wan Bissaka to fill in, and that means that we would have two very good fullback options, at left back being Emerson Palmieri and at right back Wan Bissaka. And finally, on the transfer front, the biggest news of the day from Leeds United. They are going to sell us Crescencio Summerville for around £25 million plus add-ons. It's a here we go from Fabrizio Romano. I'm really buzzing about this signing. I can't wait to see him if we do manage to get this over the line. It seems like this deal is so close to being done. His medical will be tomorrow in the next 24 hours. And apparently, if he can get this medical done, he could fly out to the USA and meet up with the squad, potentially for the Crystal Palace game. So hopefully all things go smoothly and we can get him out to the USA and integrate him for that Palace game and the Celta Vigo one before we play Aston Villa at the start of the Premier League. And Summerville being Dutch really got me thinking, how many outfield players have I seen that are Dutch for West Ham? And the answer is actually 0, because the last time we had an outfield Dutch player was in 1995, Marco Boogers. In the Harry Redknapp era, he made 4 appearances, got sent off at Old Trafford after a terrible tackle on Gary Neville.
He could have been killed.
Well in, I say. But Marco Boogers, being the last Dutch outfield player for West Ham, and hopefully Summerville doesn't have a similar career to him in the fact that he comes to West Ham and is an absolute car crash. I don't think that will happen, and hopefully we can get this over the line and he can be an absolute star just behind a potential striker of maybe Nicholas Fullkrug or John Duran. So that is all for the transfer news for today, but it's also nice to know that Lucas Paqueta has joined back with the West Ham squad after being given a green light by the Premier League to play for West Ham in the 24-25 season, after obviously the betting scandal that was going on. I don't think it's been fully dropped, but he is being given a green light, and it does seem like things are on the mend, and Paqueta is, fingers crossed, going to be okay. Obviously, he could still be sold to various other clubs, the main one being Man City, but at least if he does get sold, we will get some money for him, as opposed to him getting banned for 10 years and us getting absolutely nothing. That may sound a bit selfish for the club. Obviously, you want the best for the player as well, but, you know, at least if we were to have to let him go to Man City, we'd probably get around 18 million, which we could use on some more very good signings. Also, I think Jared Bowen is soon to join up with the squad after obviously being at the Euros. And then Edson Alvarez came back in the last couple of days after being injured, getting a terrible injury for Mexico out in the Copa America that knocks him out of the whole tournament. Mexico ended up getting groups, but it actually probably was down to Alvarez not being there, being the captain of the side and being a very influential player for them. But yeah, nice to see that all those players are back with the team and will probably play against Palace on Sunday. And that is all. Things continue. The training camp in Tampa, as I say, we're going to play Crystal Palace on the weekend for our last pre-season out in the USA before we come back, play Celta Vigo in the Betway Cup, and then finally it's time for the Premier League season to start, and Lopetegui's ideas can run through the squad, and hopefully we can have a good season. That is all the news for today. If you did enjoy this video, please make sure to like, comment and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts about these signings down below. I think they've been very good signings, especially Summerville, if it can go through. And as always, click the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Thank you very much, and come on you Irons.